We're going to call the January 4th, 2023, agenda says 22, but it is 2023 meeting to order. We're going to have every year we have a reorganization for the board. So at this time, I will call for a nomination for a chair.
I'd like to nominate Judy Reese for secretary.
No, chair.
We start with chair. That's great.
Chair.
See, I'd like to nominate Peter Solar for chair.
I'll second.
We have a nomination by James for Peter Solar, a second by Judy Reese. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Congratulations. The floor is yours.
Where's yours? You do the nominating.
Okay, looking for a nomination for the vice chair of the zoning hearing board.
Announce everyone's names. Doherty. Please ask. I nominate James Doherty.
Second. All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. James Doherty is vice chair for the zoning hearing board. Next up.
Congratulations.
Next up, we'll have a nominee for secretary for the zoning hearing board.
I nominate Judy Reese.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Judy, you are the secretary for zoning hearing board. And now we can get on to appeals.
Not an abstention this time. You are here for your actual nomination and vote.
Knock it on.
And we didn't make it take 2 days. All right, appeal 23-1989. Can you please come up and get sworn in? I asked, and apparently we don't.
Technically don't need to. Yeah.
Yes. Sit and then make sure the microphone's on.
I need the glasses. It's on. Yeah.
Okay. Need to be sworn in.
Okay. I do.
Okay, Adam is going to read the exhibits in.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few. We have the application as A1, the site plans as A2, B1 proof of publication, B2 proof of posting, and B3 notice to the neighbors.
Okay, would you like to explain to the board what it is you're trying to do?
Yeah, we would like to fence our yard. 2 sides are already fenced. We want to fence the remaining sides. And the one fence that our neighbor has is in the sewer easement, and we were going to connect into that. And so that's where we need a variance.
Okay, I have a question here for Jim to start off with. What seems to be shown on the site plan is the fence directly on top of the sewer pipe. That doesn't seem right. Is that accurate?
Well, what we'd like to see is the fence being a few feet off of the pipe so that the fence posts don't poke a hole in the pipe.
Okay.
So it would need to be probably 2 or 3 feet in from where the storm drain is.
So that would be on the back side, on the side, because the easement goes like on the back and on the side. So in the one part on the side, in order to connect into our neighbor's fence, they followed that same guideline when they put their fence in, and they put it just slightly off the pipe or the underneath. So we would have to connect in over that pipe and connect in, but there wouldn't be, I don't think there's going to be a post there. It would just be connecting to their fence.
Yeah, and we would just make sure that the posts are properly set, that they don't impact the pipe.
And just to say, it looks like the pipe is only on the back side of the lot.
There's an easement in between our two that goes out to the street. There's two drains, one in each corner in the back. Yeah. So you see the two rectangular squares?
Yeah. So it's just at the back corner, the upper end of the drawing is the only one where you're on top of the pipe.
Well, there's another one where as it crosses, it could get close. to
Oh,
the
there,
pipe, So they
that's
just
true.
need to set the post.
Right.
that
Go
wouldn't-
over it,
Exactly.
basically.
And in the rear, we would just need to make sure that it's not directly on top of the pipe.
Okay.
Any other board questions? Is there any public comment in the room? Anybody online? All right, I guess we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve appeal number 23-1989, subject to review by a township engineer, the exact location of the fence and the fence footers.
I'll second.
I would say, including as you stated in the application, that if the township needs access, the fence would be removed at
Understood.
your expense.
I'll second that amended.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carries, you're done for, good to go.
Just quick, am I allowed to take the post off of my property, the notice, or does that have to stay up?
You can remove that.
Thank you.
Next up is Appeal 23-1990, Jenny James.
Good evening.
State your name and get sworn in. State your name and be sworn in.
Jenny Ornstein James.
And I'm just going to read the exhibits in.
We have the application as A1, the site plans as A2. We have the impervious surface breakdown calculations and the stormwater management small project volume control. We're going to mark that collectively as A3. Proof of publication B1, proof of posting B2, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
Okay, go ahead and explain what it is you're looking to do.
Yes, this is property that is in my daughter and my name, and she wants a garden shed. But because of the zoning needing to build it in the back quarter of the property, that's a drainage easement, so I cannot build on that. My husband is going to do the building. His name is Stan James. I will let him speak if we can.
The zoning ordinance is that it has to be on the back 1/4. The drainage easement actually is a little bit larger than the back 1/4. So we didn't want to get a variance to put it in the drainage easement. We would much rather put it just outside of that drainage easement. So on the plot plan, it's located as far back as we can get it there while it's still not within the drainage easement. And it's slightly outside of the back 1/4. At this point, I would like to mention a correction. The setback from the front property line is listed there at 238 feet. We've made a more accurate measurement, and that should be 220 feet.
Questions from the board?
One other correction I would like to make on the application for the construction permit, it stated that it was going to be a skid foundation on crushed stone with ground anchors used at the four corners. We would like to change that to a pole building that will be pole set in concrete.
That's associated with the permit, not associated with the
Yeah.
variance. So that would go to their office.
Okay.
Judy, Jim, anything?
No, I mean, this is pretty straightforward to me.
Okay, public comment? But you need to come up, state your name into the microphone, make sure the microphone's turned on to stand there. And then state your name and address and
I'm Betsy Einborn.
make sure the microphone is on.
Is it on? Okay. I'm Betsy Einborn. Sure. E as in Ellen, INGORN. 2183 Twining Road, Newtown, not really, PA.
Can you get closer to the
I
microphone
thought I was,
so I can get picked up?
can you hear me better now? Okay, so we're original, 35 years when we built this house. The dry bed, which is what it was supposed to be, was about as wide as this, that we put a bridge over. 35 years later, it's from here to here. The runoff from not even Tom's farm, who owns the farm next to us, which is part of Newtown Township, not the part across the street, which is Lower Makefield. But the houses behind us have made it so that all of the rain is coming down and just making it bigger every year. We are literally losing the ground in between. So I don't care if they put a shed up. I just wanted them to know, I just wanted them to know that maybe you want to move it a little bit further away from where the creek is, because every year it's just collapsing into itself. Are you facing it towards the farm or straight back like this?
Towards the front street,
Towards the front, so it'll be, how long is it this way?
10 by 12.
10, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just a thought because it literally, the creek is yours. It belongs to your property, but it is just collapsing. So the further you put it closer to your house, the less chance you have, especially with a concrete base going down, losing the shed.
Well, we're in sympathy with that notion, and we're trying to comply as well as we can with the ordinance, which wants it in the back 1/4. So we're asking for the least variance possible to try not to put it.
They're
We'd
asking
like
to
it
pull
all
it
the way
towards
away
the
from the
house as opposed to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
So
going to be.
you're
your
supporting
shed.
them. They're
You guys are gonna
supporting.
be responsible, but I'm just telling you that literally the creek is sinking in on itself. And we haven't been able to fix it at all unless we get an engineer. And even then, with the rains we're having. So, the chances of losing it are greater. So you might want to just move it a little bit closer to your house so that we don't have to deal with it in the creek.
We've actually looked at the site pretty carefully.
Okay,
and
good.
Tried to make sure that we're not anywhere near close to having it collapse in the creek.
Okay.
And that's why we came up with the description we just did of the 220 feet.
And roughly based on the aerial photography, they're going to be about 50 feet away from the stream roughly.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, we are kind of lost back here in the fact that nobody really knows where the property begins and ends anymore, because Tom is saying it, and you've talked to Tom, is saying that it's further into our property than we actually thought when we all bought these properties. So, okay, and you're going to face it this way? And it's going to be looking straight into your house. It's not going to be facing towards the farm.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by.
Okay.
It'll have
Here's
4
your
sides
house.
and there'll be a door on one side and then.
I know that, but this is your house. Are you facing it this way towards the farm? Or are you facing it in the back?
It depends on what you call facing. It will be roughly a parallel to the house.
Okay,
And
Okay.
and part of it will be facing to the west and part of it will be.
but the
facing-
long part will be facing towards the house.
No.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment here? Is there anyone online? Okay. Just will entertain a motion.
Well, do we have that's kind of what I thought. I move that we approve Appeal 23-1990 as presented.
I second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Appeal 23-1990 is approved. You're free to go. And like you said, the building permit still needs to be done, but that's separate from the variance. Okay, Appeal 23-1991, Manfred McDevitt.
I do.
Yeah, hadn't read the exhibits. In.
We have the application as A1, the site plans as A2. We have the impervious surface calculations as A3, proof of posting B1, proof of posting B2, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
Okay, can you explain to us what you want to do?
Yeah. First,
And make sure you're close enough to the microphone so that it picks you up, or take the microphone towards you. One of
is it
those.
on now? It's on.
You just need to lean in to be close enough, or you can hand hold it if you want to take it out of its bracket.
What I need to do is have a variance to put my shed 4 feet from the property line instead of 10 feet. That's on the side of my backyard next to the neighbor on the side. Now, at first, I thought I would need another variance because in the back of my yard, where the back neighbor is, there's a 25-foot drainage easement where there's a pipe. So obviously, if I wanted to put the shed within 25 feet of that easement, I would need a variance for that. So, but I decided not to do that. I brought the shed past 25 feet, so I won't need to go in that drainage easement. So that's why I don't need a variance for that. The impervious surface we figured out, and there's not a problem with that either. So what I thought initially, which would be 3 variances, turned out to be just the one. I don't need the impervious surface variance because that's not a problem. We figured out the percentage. I'm bringing it up 25 feet, so it will not be in the drainage easement, so that all that's left is the 10-foot, and I want to get the variance to take that down to 4 feet. That's the only one out of the 3 that I need.
Okay, I believe Jim has a question here already, possibly for Jim.
So Jimmy, my first question is, did your office check the impervious numbers to see if our applicant's assertion about the impervious ratios are correct?
Yes, we actually helped him derive those calculations and they are accurate.
Perfect. Mr. McDevitt, so it looks like the neighboring house is the Halbins. Is that correct?
It's what?
Your neighbors, the Halbins, Hauben.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you have a discussion with these people about just to get a feel for if they're comfortable with you coming inside that 10-foot? I mean, I know when my neighbor did it 20 years ago, he knocked on our door and said, hey, I'd like to put a shed here. What's your feelings on it? So
Yeah, matter of fact, I did tell them. I talked to them about it and they think it's fine because they have a fence up. So it really,
so we shouldn't expect them in public comment tonight.
no, not at all. Not
Okay.
at all.
And in my opinion, when you're moving inside, the setbacks are there for a reason. Often it's the next door neighbor who who would have a problem with it. And you know, I can't speak for everyone on the board, but that holds weight with me. So I just wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, and I know it's an ordinance right now, but I've talked to several people in the township and they said that the 10-foot rule is kind of, I don't know whether it may be changed sometime, because if you have a 10-foot rule from the property line and you want to put a shed in, I mean, your shed's 10 feet, it's almost going out into the middle of your yard. And some people have expressed to me that sometime maybe in the near future, that ordinance would be changed. I mean, I know that's not applicable here, but that's what I've been told.
So I'm curious how the board feels. What's the lesser of two evils in both board members' opinion? Granting a 4-foot setback variance or allowing the applicant to build inside the drainage easement area?
No, I would not need to build in.
I don't think he's,
No, I'm aware of that. I'm just trying to get a sense of if the other board members have opinion of what's the lesser of the two evils, because I'm trying to reconcile that in my head right now.
I would say that the bigger issue is in the drainage easement, but saying, despite that, why not set it 10 feet from the property line and not have a variance at all?
Well, because I don't want my shed way out more into the center of the backyard.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Like I said, my neighbor did the same thing as you. So, I mean, I get it.
And I think when I spoke with the applicant, we were going over that you have the two issues, that if he puts it back near the back of the property and goes 10 by 10, it's really sitting way in the back, not obstructing the yard. But once you put that easement up and then put it over 10 feet, now it's kind of right in the middle of the back where the patio is, versus 4 feet. You're kind of, it's, as Jim said, it's like you could pick your poison there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if there's.
Excuse me. My concern really was, again, the neighbor. But I think the easement, I believe, is the easement there for water, or I'm not sure why the easement is like a
It's a storm drainage easement.
I don't like to mess with storm drainage easements. Be honest with you. I don't like to have anything the way the weather has been. I think the lesser of evils is moving it rather than, this is a tough one. The neighbor was notified, so.
Yeah, I feel the same way you do, Judy.
Okay. I'm assuming you guys don't have comment on it here. All right. Is there any comment online?
Anything from you? Jim, do you have any?
Well, as the applicant said, the neighbor next door does have a fence right up there. So, part of the problem with accessory structures being close to the line is that it's right in the neighbor's property. However, if the neighbor has a 5-foot high fence, it's not quite as impactful. Otherwise, I would think they would be here or would have called. And at one time, I think the ordinance only had a 3-foot setback. And
Yes.
that was years ago.
Yes, it was 3 and 4 feet.
Yeah.
In my old shed was.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve appeal number 23-1991 as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Appeal 23-1991 is approved as submitted.
With all those questions, everybody else sailed right through it.
Yeah. I thought I had the easiest one.
Of course.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for being patient.
Okay, Appeal 23-1992.
We have to curse it out. I'm kidding.
I was waiting for that. Yes.
Okay, Adam, read the exhibits in.
We have the application as A1. We have the site plans, which I believe are 4 sheets as A2. Impervious surface breakdown calculations and the stormwater management is A3. Proof of publication B1, proof of posting B2, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
Go ahead and talk through what you want to present.
So I'm here to, for a variance for an in-ground concrete pool with decking around the pool. And because we're over the impervious surface, it's going from 28 to 29.9%. And we have minimalized the decking. There's just enough to go around for us to be able to walk around the deck. There's several pools in our neighborhood that have similar pools and sizes, including both my neighbors on both sides. And we more went to pool just because we haven't been to a public pool since COVID, and I have 2 kids, a teenager and a 11-year-old. So we just wanted it for that and just to have a.
Okay, I'm going to let the other board members ask their questions first because I have some technical questions about what's presented in this plan.
Okay.
So, Jim, in the application, it says the impervious for this district is 28%. Is that factually correct?
Yes,
Okay, and I'm assuming the actual pool area is not included in the impervious. The additional 1.9% would just be the basically pool surround.
that is correct.
And were you able to check the setbacks for the pool surround versus the property line?
Yes, and they all comply with our ordinances.
All right, thank you.
All right, one quick question for Jim here. Does the proposed mitigation on this mitigate for everything they're supposed to mitigate for? Back to the 24.9.
Yes.
I'll say my other questions. Judy, do you have any?
Not really. I was more looking, I was just surprised when I saw 28%, truthfully, because I know where this property is. It surprised me. But I know there's a large retention area in that
All right, I'm
area anyway.
gonna start with the easier question here. The design as it's shown in the excavation that's required is going to likely result in the loss of those trees along the edge of the property there.
Okay. We wanted to remove them anyway. The ones across the back of the fence?
Yeah, the large trees that are there, the roots are going to be compromised by your excavation plan here. Okay, so just make sure, all right. Now, the bigger question is the way that this is laid out and the system for collecting the water to these infiltration systems doesn't look like it's effectively capturing the area to be mitigated. I don't know if Jim's looked at that or not, but I think you're going to need to pick up more of your downspouts from the house in order to actually get more water to the infiltration area.
May I speak up? No.
This is,
Was the
Can you please state
contractor.
your
I might-
name and be sworn in?
Sure. It's Matt Landis. I'm with
That-
Platinum Pools, and I am the contractor that helped with the design and worked with some of the township officials for the permitting of this.
Did you say your name is Matt Landis?
Correct, yes.
How do you spell that last name?
It's Landis.
Hey, raise your right hand. I'll swear you in.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I just wanted to pop in and just give some input on the storm management system that was designed. Andrew, I shouldn't say that, the township engineer had sent a letter asking for some changes to be made in regards to the storm management that was originally designed. He did ask that we picked up a couple more downspouts and add some drain inlets, which my engineer, Alta engineer, did so on the plan, according to the comments made. But it wasn't Jeffrey. It was Andrew.
Okay, I think we got what you were saying. He was saying that based on the township engineer, Andrew Pokel's comments, they added additional items. And it is reflected on the plan. If you look at where my cursor is on the drawing, there's a storm drain there within that swale, which picks up water. Another one up closer to the house and a few others, and with the downspouts being piped in also. So we actually did have our engineer review this prior to the meeting just to make sure we didn't have any additional issues.
Well, I only see one downspout tied in, and maybe there's some confusion over the downspout on the southwest corner of the house there, because there is a line there, but it's a dimensional line, not a connection to the drainage. And the inlet in the swale is only 9" by 9", which is going to be rather restrictive of flow, assuming it's got a grate on the top of it.
Yes,
That's something we could definitely have our engineer and the applicant's designer upgrade a little bit even more, just to make sure it captures the water adequately.
Certainly, I don't think that would be a problem. And it is, the system was designed to take into account the full new impervious coverage to be able to handle that.
The question isn't is whether it can handle the impervious coverage. Jim's already stated, and it looks like, looking at it, that you have the infiltration capacity. It's getting the water to the spot to be infiltrated that's the question.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and I think if you make a larger yard drain instead of the 8x8 drain, go with a 12x12 drain, you'll be able to pick up water better. And then just to make sure if maybe a roof leader being tied in would be even more effective.
I agree that would collect more water. Yes.
Well, I'll let any other people ask questions again.
I mean, you're aware that that's the understanding everything you're talking about is in my pay grade. Identifying what you just identified is above my pay grade.
Any approval you
Yeah.
can obviously make with, subject to township engineer approval for any stormwater. So that would be, those are legitimate issues though. And that's why we like having you on the board, because you know that stuff.
That's why you're there.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Are you commenting there or not? Okay. Is there any other comment online? Okay, so.
Want me to make a motion that we approve Appeal 23-1992. It's approved with the, think of the right word, for the township engineer subject to the township engineer reviewing the water filtration system and
Collection.
collection.
Mhm.
Thank you.
A second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
So,
I'm sitting here looking at a lot of pool area, but on the other hand, I see you don't have anything else out there.
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty irregular site, so that there's definitely site utility limitations. No, I mean, I think your recommendations make a lot of sense, Pete, and Jim came over the top too. Converting that 9x9 inlet into a 12x12 inlet would make a lot of sense. And just making sure that the water coming off the house actually gets diverted to these seepage beds, but possibly just tying directly in. Just making sure that our township engineer gives that a second look, which sounds like Judy put it in her motion.
And we'll relay those comments to our engineer.
I mean, is there anything else to add? I feel like I summarized what you were concerned about.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Appeal 23-1992 was approved with the condition that was just stated.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is.
I'm excited.
Another pool. No, it was just.
What's up for the next meeting? Are we having a next meeting?
We have one application.
That's it, one?
That's it.
Can it wait till February?
Or is it an hour-long application?
I don't recall.
Because
I think it's fairly straightforward.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say, if the board was so inclined and if you have time under the MPC, you could move it to February, assuming February is not too crazy, but.
But I think that we had to advertise it in advance.
Oh, it's already out.
so-
Okay, got it. So then there it is.
All right.
That's
then.
Yeah, and I
answer.
think it fell a day short of meeting the February meeting because I did go over that.
Oh, good.
Okay, so I guess we're having a meeting in 13 days on a Tuesday. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I will second.
Okay, all's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Zoning hearing board for January 4th is complete.